how do I make my mark in the NFL? I've got to set myself apart. Like, there's nothing that I won't do.
Bullseye View. I'm the host with the most, baby. Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Bullseye View. I am the host with the most, Keith Bulluck, and I have a guest that y'all have been probably one of the most requested guests that I've had in the short time that I've been doing this show. Former teammate Cortland Finnegan, welcome to the building.
My guy,
thanks for coming through. It's funny because before we got started, shoot, we should see each other a lot. I was telling Nas that I probably spent more time with you off the field in retirement than when we played. And I was like, man, I ain't seen that motherfucker in a minute, and then you come in here, Robbie's talking. So what have you been up to, man? I know, right after football, like, first of all, family, fashion, health, lifestyle, business, entrepreneur, music.
Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I took on the role of being a father first.
Word.
I think that because I just didn't have a father.
I started with family.
Yeah, got to. And so I just didn't have a father growing up. So I think that was the biggest thing is, like, I didn't want my identity to be still in football. Mm-hmm. I really want to focus on being a father. How does that look? So obviously there's the growing pains, the ups and the
right.
downs. Now I have teenage daughters, and that's now dad's the worst guy in the world.
Right, man.
So, just those levels of, like, parenting that I've really grown to love and experience. And so I think that's the one thing that I've done tremendously right now is just try to be the best father I can be, because I didn't have that opportunity. So it's a on-the-job training. I don't think you could go anywhere in the world and kind of get that training.
How is your patience when? Because I got 3 girls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you just kind of like Musa fall back, and kind of that's how
Yeah.
I go about it.
No, I think the biggest thing, because all of them are athletically inclined, they like sports, is I like them to fail.
Right.
That's the biggest
lesson.
thing,
Yeah.
because they're given so much in today's opportunity. Like, back when we played ball, like, we didn't have YouTube or somebody to go and show us,
right.
unless you had money.
Right.
Today they have access to everything.
Yeah.
And so now I see the biggest hindrance for all of that is just the time that we spend, the money that we spend on them, and we want it more than they do. So the biggest thing for me is, like, I'm gonna let them fail all day long. If they want dad, I'm gonna be there for you. If you want to go catch, throw, kick, I'm there for you. But at the same time, they gotta learn to fail too.
So you grew up in Milton, Florida, right outside Pensacola. Was it the infamous Blackwater River? Used to, you know what I mean?
It is Blackwater.
So, what was your upbringing like? Because like you just said, we're able to give our kids everything that things we couldn't even imagine. So what was it like for you growing up in Milton?
Yeah, it was a single parent mom, and so she worked. So in my 9th grade year, the transition for me was that I had to go live with the family the rest of my high school career. And so then that really, I think she
What
did
do you
that.
mean? You had like a foster family?
Like a foster family.
Okay.
So from 9th grade to my senior year, I stayed with a foster family.
Word.
And so for me, that was the first time that I got to experience a father figure, just to see how that went. And so we bumped heads a lot.
Right.
But he never stopped loving me. And so that was one of those things that I really, really grew as a man. But also I have, my hesitations towards male figures.
Trusting.
Yes, trust was a big thing.
Yeah.
But needless to say, she did what was best for me because she wanted me to have that aspect.
Right.
And so that was just a blessing in it. So I played the game to get my mom out of a better situation. I wanted to put her in the best situation. So when I played football the way I play football, it wasn't just because I loved it, but also because I wanted to get my mom out of that situation as well. And so I wanted her to be around and not have to worry and not have to work. So that's kind of where, big picture wise, that's my upbringing in a nutshell, is that I love my mom enough that I'm like, you know what, she would give the shirt off her back.
Right.
And I want to be in that same aspect of doing
Well, that explains a lot of your style that I've come to know, and everybody you're a Florida boy. Like, y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, from the dirt, from the mud, and that's how, y'all go every high caliber Florida athlete, they go hard in the paint.
Yeah,
like you know
love
what I'm
it too
saying.
much.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's crazy because I didn't know you had a father. I was in foster care too from 17, so we got that in common as well. Why did you choose Samford? You went to Samford University. Did you have many options?
Yeah, no,
like, how big were you? How big were you your senior year?
I was 5'10", 150.
But you was all state.
I was
you was all everything.
I was a little bit of everything. Yeah, absolutely, and which was great. But I knew me. I had to pick a college that I was going to go play because I just love football.
Right.
I didn't have the the partying and going out. That wasn't really my thing. So I know if I was the red shirt, potentially at a university of like the Florida State, the Clemson of the world, that I would probably not end up playing football.
So just to interject real quick, thinking about your experience, the grind you had to go through, what you just said, the choices you made, how do you feel and think about the transfer portal these days?
Oof. I think it's I'm not a big fan of it. I really, because I'm all about like loyalty.
Right.
Like if you say you're gonna do something, let's do it. Let's figure this out together. Because I think you got to build players.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting players, and it's hard as coaches to really manage those players because you don't know the guy's character, where he's from, or his home life, and all of those things factor into being a good teammate. And so I think as you get the transfer portal, it just becomes this sticky mess of a coach trying to employ, in a sense, because he's paying these guys, guys with 53, 55 different personalities, and they're young men who haven't matured yet. It's just a tough tough situation. Besides
family, what has been your two most favorite ventures or things that you've done post-career?
Yeah, I would say right now I'm in the midst of like something that's pretty cool. I do a beverage company, and it's called Aim High.
Okay.
And I took this. It was a dream that God gave me. I really can't even say other than that. And I was standing in a stadium, and I looked back, and there were people holding this can, and I didn't know what it was going to be about. Didn't know what it was, and so I literally started from scratch. And I was like, well, where are some avenues that kind of make sense? The NIL was kind of coming along. So I was like, if I partner with NIL and college universities, I can generate profit and revenue for them, and they would buy my product. Seems like a win-win. So let's do that. So was able to do that. First team I worked with was Colorado, just because I had ties with Dion and those guys.
Cool. I saw you out there.
But my first real big land was Miss Peggy. And I don't know if you know Miss Peggy. She was a 100-year-old lady from Colorado. Dion has it all around.
I know we know Miss Peggy for sure.
So I kept getting no's based on Pepsi and Coke and how those things work in the beverage industry because they kind of own the lay of the land. So I called Miss Peggy on just a whim. And I was like, how would you like it if I put your face on a can and I just sold it? She was like, that'd be great. I was like, oh hell, we're in. So literally made 100,000 cans. Went to Colorado, started slanging and banging. We donated all the money back to NIL, and we knew we had something. Fast forward to I signed with Travis Hunter, so Travis Hunter's a part of what we do now. So we're slowly building our portfolio of beverages, and so now we work with NILs and festivals like AEG. So it's pretty neat. So this year we put a bid in to do Coachella and Stagecoach, which I'm excited about.
Congratulations.
We didn't get it.
Well, sure.
But we got 9 other events for them, and if we do a really good job, they say, we're able to have that. So this thing has slowly started, to go in the right direction, but it's just been a dream and something that, because I haven't had success off the field, I would say, or something that I would deem successful.
I feel like, you had success with your juice bar runs, and I don't know what success is to you.
Right.
Obviously, outside looking in. Yeah. Well ran, well managed. You had several, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was out there in the community. So I know I'm picking up what you're putting down. I just wanted to let you know.
It's just something I just started from scratch. That's what I'm gonna deem as success.
Gotcha.
That's something I didn't know the industry. I didn't know anybody. I had to go learn it. I had to go meet people, make connections.
Word.
And being a football player didn't help any of that.
You wanted to separate yourself from football, right away. Was there something about the game that made you want to step away besides your family, or was it the NFL, the politics and bullshit that might come along with it?
I think it was a little bit of both, but mainly the politics and the BS that come with it. It's like, like finding your identity. What are you going to do life after football? And then the people that you engage with, are they still around? Because it seems like whenever you would leave, it would be harder to get back to them. So they would almost forget about what you did for them. And so that was kind of the whole politics side of things where I'm like, if that's the case, then I'll just do you a favor and I'll just make it easy on everybody. And so that's kind of where I stood with it all. And just with the Titans days, I always felt that was the case. It was always like, hell, I helped put bricks in this building. At least you can let me in the door. So that was, and I never felt that welcome. And I don't know how all the alumni feel. There are wonderful people who work there. So let me start off by saying that.
Right.
But also there are not so many wonderful people that work there. And that may be from the top down. So we'll just start there and then, kind of work your way back. So my experience and the time and the people that I had when I was there was great.
Right.
But as you leave, you become like this outsider. And that's kind of where I was like, the disconnect for me was like, I'll just go ahead and keep it moving.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I can feel you. I respect you on that. But, when you got to Tennessee, first of all, 7th round draft pick, and to have the career that you had, I played with you 4 years. We were saying it felt like longer than that. But I remember when you came in, you're at camp. I really just remember you from Austin P. You know what I'm saying? Because you came in balling, and then like 3 or 4 days later, you weren't around. I'm like, damn, y'all cut the little yellow boy already? I was like, what the fuck? And then you got sick.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Austin P, that's the year, I don't know if Robbie or somebody would have told you they had toxic mold there.
Yes,
Austin P.
my room was good.
Yes,
they
so
put the rookies in that bullshit.
I want to say we had like a couple coaches and staff and players go down. I will tell you that this still had ramifications for that. I took Tylenol and Advil, probably, I want to say 20 almost a day, just to try to get back, because I was in that same boat, like I'm going to get cut if I'm not out there.
For sure.
It burned the line of my esophagus, which was hilarious. So now I still
burned the
lining of my trying to take all of them, trying to get back. So you start as a rookie, and I'm still dealing with that to this. But again, it was all for the love. Like I wouldn't have done anything differently.
Yeah, you what was your thoughts of the NFL? Because a lot happened even before the season started. We had Billy Volek, who was the starting quarterback, competing with VY. Then all of a sudden, Billy Volek's gone. Now we got Kerry Collins, and like, you're a rookie, and then you're playing special teams, and then now you're having to play. Like, what was going through your mind? Man,
I really.
What were your expectations?
I really felt like it was like Rudy, man. Be honest with you, man. Just but just a little more talented. At the end of Rudy, they always talk about, man, you don't have a lick of talent. You got a lot of heart. I'm like, well, I got some talent because I'm here. But I needed to have that much heart. And so I think that was the biggest thing, is like, how do I make my mark in the NFL? I've got to set myself apart. And and it's almost that Rudy mindset. It's like, there's nothing that I won't do.
Right.
And I will, and we can toss it up. We can do whatever you need to do.
For sure.
But if I'm on your team, I'm for you, and I'm rocking with you. If I'm not, I'm not. So that's just where I felt.
Pacman was in your room. You got to be a rookie with Pacman. So, is there anything that you learned about football from Pac, like being in the room? And then 2, give me your favorite rookie Pacman story.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I'm not sure if there's one thing that I would say that I took from Pac, other than he loved his teammates, and I think that was the misunderstood part about Pacman. Like his off the field antics were so much to some people, but his love for his teammates was so real. So again, that for me was still like something. Even when I see Pac, I just saw Pac in Texas.
Right.
And the first thing we did, he picked me up and hugged me and kissed me. I mean, like on the cheek, and he was like, "Man, I love you." And I'm like, "Man, that's just something like the locker room bonds are some things you'll just never be able to get past." And Pac was a special one in that aspect.
For sure.
And so that to me meant everything. As far as Pac-Man stories go, man, I gotta go. God dog. So we're on the sideline. We're playing Baltimore, and Coach Schwartz calls cover 3. Pac gets beat, all right? And then we get off 3 and out, so we come back to the sideline. Pac's like, "Man, Coach, stop calling damn cover 3." He was like, "Okay." All right, so he's like, "Pac, what you want to run?" He said, "Look, run quarters." I'm not kidding. We go out there, run quarters, Pac get beat again. He don't get beat for a touchdown. He come out to the sideline, "Coach, get us out of quarters." He said, "Damn it, Pac, I done called every defense besides man-to-man. You want man-to-man?" He said, "Absolutely." Man, I'm telling you about a couple series later, they run a crossing route, Pac get picked off, and they catch the ball. He get beat again. Coach comes to the sideline, "Well, Pac, hell, I done called everything that I can. Maybe you just need to look at you." Pac says one of the craziest statements I ever heard go to a coach. Pac said, "Coach Schwartz, put 12 eggs in your ass and beat him." And he gets up and walks off. And as a rookie, I'm looking going, he just told his coach to put 12 eggs in your ass and beat him. flipped his head back. I remember like it was just he flipped his dreads back and starts walking to the offensive side. I go, man, I'm in for a long year. I'm in for a long year. So one of the many Pac stories that he had.
That's a great one.
But that right there, when he told Coach Schwartz that, it was one of the, like, it tickled me like to a point where I'm like, I didn't know you could even talk to coaches like that. Hell, I did not know that, but okay, now I know. So that was my Pac story.
Oh man, yeah, nah. So that's funny, man. I asked you, if you because you guys kind of played the same with a similar style, because you're, undersized corners, you know what I mean? So, you got to bring something more, you know what I mean? When you go against a Hines Ward or a Chad Ochocinco or, any of the plethora of wide receivers that you had to see. So, with that aggressiveness, where did you get your style from? Who did you watch growing up? And when did you know, oh yeah, I could play at this level?
Yeah. So I would say my style came from Rod Woodson. I think that was I liked Al Harris, the way he moved. He wasn't as physical. He didn't mix it up. I would say Rod would be my guy if I had to pick one. I wore 26 in college because of Rod. It wasn't until my junior year I had a old scout from the Kansas City Chiefs. He came to practice. And he said something to me, and I really hung my hat on this. He was like, if you weren't at Samford, I really believe that you'll be a first rounder. I was like, okay, I appreciate that, but all right, we hear you. He's like, but you can play in this league. So I really felt at that point, I was like, I had just won Player of the Year for defense. I had all conference, all of that, all American. So you name it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, am I that far off from the NFL? There's big Division I's. But when he said that to me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just keep working because I know I've got to set myself apart. So I started running track, and I would get blown out. Every track I would get blown out because I didn't realize in college when you run track, you can run unattached, which means Olympic guys can come to any college meet they want to, and they can run. So I'm running the second leg of the 4x1. I'm getting in the 4 and 5 lane of the 100-meter dash, and I'm getting demolished. But again, that helped me in the grand scheme of things because when I had my pro day, I had to run a 4. My 40 was a 4.28. I said, well, I'm giving myself every opportunity I can to at least when the door does open that I do make the most of it.
08 was a special year for us, 13-3. But you were all pro. All Pro Bowl player. What was your mentality coming into that season, knowing that okay, it's your spot?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think Coach Fish. I think when I sat down and talked with Coach Fish, he just said he expected me to be this player that he knew that he saw me working to be and training to be, and I couldn't be the weakest link. I mean, you talk about guys. We had named guys on our defensive line, linebacker, secondary, and we had just drafted Michael Griffin.
Yeah.
So it's like, you better go ahead. Like, they're always looking to replace you. So you better figure it out soon, and you better figure it out fast and try to make plays. And so that was just my mentality going into that season. And furthermore, it was like, okay, every year you're expendable. Sorry to tell you. This is what life is all about. And so Griff really opened up my eyes to being like, okay, no matter what, no matter if he's better than you or he's not, given the role, when the first rounder comes in the door, sorry, bud, you better figure it out. And so that was my eye-opening experience to go, all right, it's time to go all in. Let's just figure this thing out. And so I think that was the biggest turning point. I think the Griff was probably my biggest turning point.
In 2010, there's a void in leadership. Now you're playing an even bigger role. Like, you're being looked at, as a leader. Now they're coming to you, whereas like you were just saying a few years ago, you're the 7th-round draft pick, burning your esophagus with Tylenol, don't even know if you're going to make the team. And then now, you know what I'm saying? You got paid, you got some bread, and then now you're the big dog. How did you receive that? Because I wasn't here, but I'm going to say you chose violence that year because you got a lot of fines, my boy. Because I didn't even know this, man. I do my research, man. You got fined $5K in Pittsburgh, $5K New York, $10K in Denver, and then with Dre, you got $25K.
And then I got 25, and I want to say 25. Was it? I got Schaub. I hit Schaub and got fined too. There was some ones not on there. I know I was up to about $100,000 that year.
Damn.
I was up to 6 figures. I wasn't excited about it. It wasn't a good thing. I don't say that like, man, I'm out 100, but it went to charity if that helps. So.
Well, hey, yeah, man. And then one thing that I do know from playing on your side, like we played on the same side, like you weren't a talker. You know what I'm saying? You would definitely agitate, get under people's skin. You're playing physical. You're up in their shit. Yeah. You played within the scheme of the defense, and you figured out how to make that shit work for you. And then you go to their sidelines, like, come get your ass. You know what I'm saying? And evidently, like, that's really what happened in Baltimore. And you and I have spoken about people, oh, what happened with you in Cortland? It's like, yo, in the heat of the moment, words are exchanged. Whether you like it or not, you know, words are exchanged. And then sometimes you get in a space where you don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying? You don't remember. And, you know, not going to go through all that. But for everybody, the next day, actually, Cortland and I in the locker room, you know, we talked it out. And, like, it was just one of those moments, man. You know what I'm saying? So we've been good for a decade plus. Facts. But people always ask me that. And then it was even a time post-career, I saw you in L.A., we was in a spot and it was just I ain't seen you in years, and it was all love. So, you know, kind of to what Cortland said about Pac and just your teammates in general, man, like we're all here for one cause, that's to win, man. And those Titans teams that we're on, you know, there were times that we weren't very good and we had to fucking grind from the bottom. And then when you get to a space, man, it just it is what every inch counts, you know what I mean? And that's what we're all fighting for. So I know people wanted to know about that. Something I want to know about is after the Andre Johnson situation, you know, how did you see it like afterwards? Because I could tell people that shit was probably, you know, boiling and festering for 2, 3, however many years. How did you view the after effect of that?
Well, I think leading up to that, he always went to work on the Titans. He did. He went to work. He had Hall of Fame career, whatever. But I never got to cover him. Like, he never did work on my side. So it was one of those things where it's like, is he really that good? Like, obviously he is, but he's always on the other side. Like, I'm looking for a challenge, you know? Yeah. So that was one of those things where it's just like, man, he probably didn't like the whole, you know, agitation side of things, and nor did I care. Because again, if you're not on the team, I really don't care. So that game, I think it got towards we played him at home, and Jason Jones got ejected, and there was a couple of guys on the sideline. I just remember that. So going into the next year, I really didn't think anything of it, other than the fact that we started a guy named Rusty Smith. So Rusty, if you listen,
you're crazy, bro.
And we started the game off throwing 3 straight passes, and we had Chris Johnson. I just didn't understand the whole philosophy. So it kind of fired me up that we weren't going to like try to win the football game. Like I'm not
I can relate.
You know what I'm saying? So that for me, it fired me up. So I was looking for any advantage, and that was probably just, you know, taking it out on Andre Johnson. So again, jammed him. He knocked my helmet off the play before, and then so I was like, well, let me just try to knock his helmet off. I was like, yeah, this is tit for tat. We can do this all day long.
Right.
It wasn't until I got to the locker room that I realized he even hit me. That's how, like, I ain't that bright. I know that. But it wasn't, you know, I learned a lot about myself in that day. Is like, you could take a club punch, 3 of them, from a guy who's like 230. I was like, okay, you got something. I'm like, you got something right there. So, you know, hindsight now, if I would have known, I would have loved for him if we would have gone duke it out. Let's just like pop the helmets off and let's do it there. Like, you know, hockey style.
Right.
Hell, that would have been like, that's where like I want to live.
You know, there are certain guys in the NFL that you gotta fucking really bring it. You know what I mean? And I can only imagine that Andre Johnson was one of those guys.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's another one for y'all. Y'all happy?
Yeah, I never got the opportunity to cover him, so it was like, that was kind of my one time that I did, and so it worked out.
Dre's a good dude and all that, and then things happen during the heat of battle. But I feel like a lot of, you know, the great play and the great player that you are gets marred in that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know, from Tennessee, after Jeff left, a year later, you left with him and went to the Rams. Got a nice little payday there.
It was nice.
How was that, man? Leaving Tennessee, going to another team, coming in as one of the top free agent signings of the offseason, and being reunited with Chuck and Jeff.
I felt like it was long overdue, but at the same time, I needed to pay back. Not so much a debt, but someone who took a chance on me.
Word.
So if he took a chance on me as a 7th round pick, not knowing, and then as I'm a free agent, I would do the same thing. Was St. Louis good? Absolutely not. Were there other options? For sure.
Right.
But I felt like the loyalty aspect of him taking a chance on me, I would reciprocate that, and we did that. And so it was fun. It was totally different from the Tennessee days, for sure. The talent was kind of, wasn't there. They just didn't have that team leadership and the veterans that they needed.
The culture. What was the culture? Yeah.
So that they were, St. Louis is from a losing culture. I mean, they were always 2 wins, 3 wins. So again, he was bringing guys in that he felt would push his narrative, the culture of that. And that was tough because he couldn't get all of them. Right. He could only get a few. And so it was like, it's going to take a while.
So based on, team research here at Bullseye View, found out you were a prankster at St. Louis, and you pranked the linebackers. Why the linebackers, and how did it come that you had to get the LBs?
Well, I probably spent majority of my time with the linebackers.
Gotcha.
So, just that camaraderie and, love for them. but they were hazing my rookie defensive backs, and I was like, hey, they've already had enough, and so they still kept going. So I decided, we were at practice one day, and I saw an 18-wheeler go by. I can't make this up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just get all their cars and put it on an 18-wheeler. So literally make a couple calls, and behind our facility is just abandoned warehouse. So you literally facility and this abandoned warehouse, and I call the trucker. I'm like, hey, I'll pay you. Once we go to practice, I want you. It was on a Saturday too, so Saturday you get in and out. So you walk through and you're trying to get in and out.
Oh,
so
hell no.
I already knew what time it was. So Saturday you get in, you got family in town, you trying to get home and see them. I said, we're gonna do it on Saturday. Sure enough, we go out for walkthrough. I give all the keys to the guy. He loads all the cars up. He drives around the warehouse, parks the car, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna pay you as well. I want you to go have lunch on me.
So you stalled them out.
So listen, oh man. So not only did they drop it off, and all of the linebackers are looking like this, like he got the keys to their house. So once practice ends, guess what? Damn. He's still at lunch. So all the linebackers are still in the locker room, like, man, we can't even go home. They got family in town. It's just part of it, man. So they still knew how to have fun within it. So Chris Long, again, once I started it was started being prank war. We had a smack cam. I don't know if you remember that. He was on national TV.
Chris Long,
I hid behind like a curtain like this in an interview about 7:00 in the morning, and I run past and I smack him in the whole face with a pie. And the whole premise behind
y'all was playing.
Yeah, the whole premise was that if you had on team issue, you were a go. But if you never had on team issue, you were not a go. So literally, he was doing an interview, and you hear him say, I got to put on this shirt. And they're like, yeah, you got to put on a shirt.
You set him up?
So I set him up.
Smack him!
Oh, God.
I don't have any issue gear on.
We never, Hayes, we ain't do that here, did we?
No. Travis Henry almost drowned me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he almost drowned me. Yeah, he had me on a stick like a rotisserie in the cold tub.
We did that to Pacman.
No. You
I wasn't part of
Ricky
that.
Henderson. No, you guys did that. And Pac sent me to Lebanon, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, everywhere to the same Walmart to go grab something, a body wash, some food. He
got you. He was trying to get his get back.
Yeah.
He was trying to get his get back.
He definitely did that.
So, man, for somebody that has such a disdain for the game, man, you've had, you had a great career. You went to Miami, played a couple years. You went to the Super Bowl with Carolina. What was that experience like? And what did football start to like feel like to you as you went, okay, from you leave St. Louis, then you go to Miami, then Carolina, and then eventually you chose to play with the Saints to finish off?
Yeah, you start feeling like you don't relate so much the older you get, and you go to a different team that's so young. I think teams are getting younger, and so you kind of don't relate. So you're there for like, all right, I'm just on a job. This is my job. I'm gonna do it the best of my ability, and I'm gonna get on out. Because by then you have family, you have kids, so you don't really relate to the 20-year-old kid, and you've got 20 of them in the locker room. You're there for them to answer any questions, be a light for them, but at the end of the day, you're not in the partying scene anymore. That's just not for you. So then you fast forward to Carolina, a dream come true. Like every kid dreams about
playing. What was it like being on a team with Cam?
It was incredible. I think Cam Newton was one of the best teammates I've ever had. And I say that like
he looks like he'll be a fun teammate.
From all the stuff, the antics he does, he was such a personality that when we got to San Fran, I remember Jay-Z and Beyonce being on our sideline at practice, and I'm going, dang, Cam's a big deal. That's when the personality of somebody resonates far beyond just, the game. It's like these are music people. This is J and B. They coming to watch him practice.
Right. That's cool.
We talking about practice. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew then, but outside of that, it was a good run. I enjoyed every part of it. Like growing up, you always like a dream. I got to play in the Super Bowl. I want to play in the Super Bowl. And I got that opportunity. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity. I lost to Peyton Manning, which I hold in high regards as my favorite quarterback.
You had your first pick against Peyton?
First pick ever was against Peyton Manning. So
that's all right.
Again,
right there,
I take all of those things in stride, and it was special. It was special. But to see him, how we saw him, and then now when we saw him in the Super Bowl, it was night and day. It's that Father of Time waits on nobody.
I got you.
And so
from rewind 8 years ago to when you played him in the Super Bowl, that thing won't coming out.
Oh man, it was almost disheartening too. It was like because he was still trying for his health's sake to win one,
right?
And it was like okay, it's time.
Cool. So you played a lot of football. You played on teams that have been ass. You played on teams that have been like right there and have made it to the cusp of making the playoffs, becoming a good team. Shit, we played on teams that was 13-3 here in Tennessee. You played in the Super Bowl even. So all of that football knowledge, man, let's just keep it local. They just got Robert Saleh. Yeah. What do you think these Titans need to do, unbeknownst what Robert Saleh's plan is, but from what you've seen the last few years, where you think the organization is?
I think it's just it's a culture thing. He's got to come in, and there's got to be some non-negotiables, some standards that he sets, and then we try to obtain those. I think that's what we've always been missing. There's always been a disconnect to me between general manager and coach with the Titans, and it really goes like this. The general manager says, okay, I bring the players in, and he tells the coach, you just coach them.
Right.
That's not a real organization, and that's not culture. And I feel like that's a lot for what we experienced in the Titans. I think that's what we've gotten. And so I think if you're coming into an age where now we're about to get a new stadium, we got a quarterback, a franchise quarterback. I think identity, Vrabel had that. Fisher had that. I think Saleh needs to figure it out and figure it out fast.
I really appreciate you coming through, man. I know you don't, talk football that much, but I feel like these conversations are therapeutic, man. You got some shit off your chest. You know what I mean? Maybe we get the Titans to send you a care package or something like that, man. We can get you back in the building or something. No interest, no?
Nah, we good.
No, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that out, man.
Okay.
Fix that. You deserve to. You're gonna be in. Yeah, you're one, like you said, a foundational guy, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I appreciate it, as I said earlier, because I was here. I saw how it was done with Eddie, Steve, Frank, Brad Hop, like all those guys. And, you were part of helping bring that back. So thanks for coming through Bullseye View. And
thank you, sir.
Thanks for being the great guy that you are.
Thank you, good man.
Word. Thanks for watching Bullseye View. Please like and subscribe and check us out on all social media platforms.
Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.